What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new Pokemon Duel video. Today we're going to be talking about the major update, what I think of it as a whole, because there is a lot to talk about. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. So first and foremost, guys, we're going to talk about Mega Evolutions because that's the first thing they decided to announce. So we got Charizard X, Charizard Y, and Mega Beedrill, and they're pretty interesting. Definitely not figures that you can just sneeze at. However, I will say that I think they should last a little bit longer than 7 turns, especially when you consider the fact that it's not 7 of your turns, it's 7 turns going back and forth between you and your opponent. So it's closer to like 4 turns, and that's just not cool in my opinion. So I do think they're not going to be necessarily like meta defining, which a lot of us sort of theorized. And I don't know if they're going to be the Deoxys killers that a lot of us were hoping they would be. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I'm kind of disappointed in that. And I do think in the future that the amount of time that they're actually able to be a Mega is going to be increased, possibly even made it so if it gets knocked out, it loses its Mega form. And if it doesn't get knocked out, then it doesn't actually expire over time. I hope that's what it actually becomes, because otherwise the cost is just too much to put it in normal decks and expect it to do well, at least with what we've seen so far. Now, in the future, this could change with other Mega Evolutions. Next up, we've got a new rarity UX, and I'm not exactly excited about that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that when we get to the banner for this next period of 2 weeks or so. So I'm just going to gloss over that right now. But number 3, a new item that allows you to level up a figure to level 10. You can power up a figure to level 10 by performing a fusion with a new item, Carmenite. So this is really cool. I'm actually pretty excited for this because it's something that it doesn't seem like you can just straight out buy, and I might be wrong about that. There might be a deal or something that I'm missing at this point, but it looks like you actually have to go through playing the game and over time earn all of these Carmenites by either getting them in the new room matches in the halls or just getting them through, I guess, your normal boosters or something like that. And otherwise, I can't really see another way to get them at this point in time. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is really cool. I think getting level 10 figures is an awesome thing to have, sort of add more progression to the game once you get sort of an end game team. There wasn't a whole lot to work towards, other than obviously rating and all that, but this is really cool. This is really cool, and I'm a huge fan of it. So I give them mad props on this one. This is definitely not anything I think any of us expected, and we've sort of proven the leak to be false at this point in time too. So I'm excited. This is awesome. Now there are halls and room matches, which basically are just different areas you can go in to have different rules towards your matches. So this is pretty cool. There aren't really that many that are active right now. As far as I know, there's only one, and that actually became inactive when people realized there was a glitch with it. So that's kind of unfortunate. The rewards weren't what they should have been, and you have to pay a certain amount of gems to actually get in, which is something that I'm not a huge fan of. But overall, this is a pretty cool function, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the future, especially because you have things like uncommon or lower. I mean, I love that. I love that sort of meta discussion, and I love making teams that people definitely wouldn't expect because they're so used to sort of like the highest of the high tier. So I'm excited. That's really, really cool in my opinion. They also rebalanced leagues. So up to $12.99, we got Beginner League, which is something entirely new, and I'm happy about that, honestly. Gives some more progression to the little guys, and then gives them something to look forward to as well. So that's nice to see. 1300 Trainer League, 1500 Leader League, 1700 Elite League, 1900 Champion League, 2100 Great League, 2400 Hyper League, 2700 Master League, which is where I'm at right now, and then 3000 plus is Legend League, which I'm so happy they decided to do. Definitely not exactly what I was looking for, but it's very, very close to what I was looking for. I actually specifically said Legend or Legendary or something like that, so pretty happy about that one overall, getting sort of a higher cap, because those people up around 3K definitely deserve to be recognized for being around 3K or above. So happy about that. That's very cool. Also, it's important to note from 2400 and up, you're going to have the opportunity to get Carmenite from time boosters, these black time boosters, which is so cool. It's a 6-hour one, and you're actually guaranteed to get 5+ Carmenite from every single booster, which is fantastic. Definitely going to give you some more progression to the game, and it's going to be somewhat linear because we're actually going to have something to do while we're working towards our endgame status, which is very cool and something the game was sorely lacking, in my opinion, up until now. So team matches haven't actually been released at this point in time. I'm not entirely sure what they're going to entail. It's very possible that we're actually going to get some new boards or something like that with this release, but I don't know yet. No one knows yet, and the leak was already definitely false, so We don't know if we're actually getting new boards or not, so this could be really interesting. It could be a lot of fun, or it could totally just fall through and be pretty boring. Sort of fall into place a lot like we saw gyms, where they just start to rely on them after a certain amount of time. So that's nice to see as something new, but I'm definitely a little bit cautiously optimistic about it. Finally, figures from Pokemon Sun and Moon are going to be here very soon, which is something I'm excited about because first and foremost, we have some really awesome Pokemon that came out in Sun and Moon, so I'm excited to see their faces in this game. And second, because, you know, obviously this has a lot of potential to bring players into the game, because I do think once they release some Sun and Moon Pokemon in the game, then we're probably going to see some more advertisement for it as well. And I'm hoping that I'm not being too optimistic in thinking that, because it just makes sense to me, but I guess it's possible that they're just going to keep throwing out the newer Pokemon in hopes that people are going to stick around at the app and keep playing it, keep spending money on it. But I do think we're going to see some new advertising and hopefully get a decent increase in the player base, because right now, again, it's not huge and it's definitely starting to dwindle as far as viewership, as far as player base is concerned, and I do think that that's why they're releasing all of these things right now. So really quickly, guys, I do want to discuss the brand new booster that came out and probably why you should not be opening on them if you plan on getting UXs. So first and foremost, okay guys, check out the rates on UXs. It's just about half the rates that EXs have. So if you plan on getting a UX, you've got less than a 1 in 100 chance at getting them. I've seen people with lucky pulls and all of that, but not very many people get that lucky. So I don't think that you guys should be pulling if your goal is to get a UX. Now, going back to arguing somewhat in Pokemon Duel's favor, I will say that I do respect them a lot for the way they handled UXs. You can actually go and exchange materials for them right now, and if you guys check it out, it's 5,000 materials, so they only increased it by 1,000 for the next rarity, which, considering that it's almost 2 times as rare as the average EX, I think that that's definitely a nice compromise. So I'm a big fan of 5,000 material cost on those EX, or rather UX figures. But then, as expected, you also have some bad to come with the good. So going to the gym purchases right now, they did not change the campaign or anything like that. It's the same as usual. You can only buy one of the $80 packs and one of the rest of them as well. And then you also have a once only major update memorial sale, which gives you 876 gems for $7.99, which is definitely not a bad price if you do plan on going ahead. It's actually the best price you're going to get if you plan on actually buying gems at any point. So I'd recommend picking up those 876 gems, even if you don't want to spend them right now. If you do ever plan on buying gems, because, you know, these only come around once in a while, once in a blue moon, only a couple times a year, I think. So at this point, I definitely pick that up again if you're planning on spending anything on this app ever. However, I would not recommend getting anything from the Extra Gems campaign, and the reason why is that I've had multiple content creators at this point in time, and I'm just talking about content creators. I've had friends at this point in time, people I know in the Discord, and people that I've just barely talked to on Twitter for whatever reason, that have actually had issues with their Pokemon Duel accounts. Basically, if you lose your account during transfer and you do not have the support ID, which is something that is not made clear that you're going to need if you lose your account during a transfer, which is, again, not made clear that's actually going to possibly happen when you're transferring your account, then you're not going to be able to recover your account. You can have all of the receipts, all of the numbers, the credit cards, the accounts, everything, be in control of every single bit of information that you have about the game, about your version of it, about your account, and everything, and they will not give you your account back. And that is an absolutely disgusting thing. You know, one of my friends, he goes by Lenneth, right? He's in the Discord. He's on there pretty often, but recently he hasn't been, obviously, because he lost his account. He was mugged. Like, he was attacked, right? And he lost his phone because it got smashed. Like, he lost his account, and it's disgusting to me that they didn't actually go through and restore the whole thing, okay? He spent money on the game. He's got a whole bunch of Deoxys and everything. He had a decent team and all that and enjoyed the game and played it regularly. But because his phone got smashed in something that's entirely out of his hands, not his fault at all, then he's not able to play the game anymore on his account. That's absolutely disgusting, and I am just shocked at the incompetence that the company has. And some of you guys seem to not understand how sour I am about this game and this company, and that is why, okay? It's because they are so incompetent when it comes to anything that's not going to make them money, which I guess in the grand scheme of things, it will make them more money to help people recover their accounts after they lose them for whatever reason. But This is such an archaic, old gacha, like, non-westernized system for having your accounts handled that it's hard to recommend spending any money on this game at any point ever. So while I can recommend putting the $7.99 in for the 876 gems whenever they do have the sale, I also have to recommend that you don't spend anything more than that, because otherwise you're putting money into something that has no guarantees that if you actually end up losing your account that you're going to be able to get it back. That level of uncertainty is absolutely unacceptable for a company like the Pokemon Company. It's ridiculous. So again, can't recommend anything more than that. But yeah, guys, that's going to be about it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down in the comment section below what you want to see in the next Pokemon Duel video. I'd love to hear it. I have a lot of figures right now, and I can work with quite a few of them. We can also try out the newly buffed Latias and Latios, so I'm going to try them out for sure. But if you have any other ideas, drop them down in the comment section below. And until the next one, guys, peace.